Today is a great day because we are talking about practice journals, why you should have one, who's it for, how to keep one, what to put in it. Learn all of those things in this video. A few of my students have taken up my challenge of starting a practice journal, but I know there's a bunch of you out there who are still trying to figure out where to start, and I think the best place to start is with this video, so let's get into it. My students always ask me the best way to practice at home between lessons, and I always say the best practice sessions are, number one, goal-oriented, and number two, focused on those goals. In my opinion, practicing music is like cultivating a yoga practice or journaling practice or meditation practice. A practice is something that you are creating as a habit for yourself. It's not an activity that you do. I also say that lessons are only meant to guide you. If you see me only once a week, I'm only there to guide you on your journey. I cannot do the work for you. By seeing me once a week in a lesson, that in itself will not make you a musician. You have to do the work on your own. I think a lot of students don't see the results they want as quickly as they want or as deeply as they want because they are not practicing enough during the week or they're not practicing in the right way. So I think a practice journal is a great tool and a great place to start to build your practice. So why do you need a practice journal? Why can't you just show up every day, practice, and be done and move on with your day? The process of writing something down is what is the game changer here. Being able to verbalize and think about what you've done, where you want to go with it, and things you noticed. Also developing a vocabulary for what did or did not happen or what you're trying to make happen. It's so underrated. Who is this for? Great question. My students range from age 7 to age 70. And I think everybody can benefit. The first thing you need to do is choose your medium. What are you going to use as a journal? The correct answer is whichever one will work for you, and that may change over time. You might have to try a couple different things before you find one that helps you stay consistent that you really like. So here are a few options. First option is iPhone Notes app. This is something that probably goes with you everywhere. You might not have as much flexibility or customization in terms of formatting or organization, but I think it's a great start and it's something you can absolutely start today. So maybe if you're unsure about how this is going to work for you, start there before you purchase any other kind of notebook. Another option is you can just use a regular cheap notebook. I think I got this one from Walgreens for like $5. So this is another really cheap option for starting if you're not sure what you want to commit to yet. On to some options that are more app-based. I found a practice journal app the other day on the App Store called Andante, and it's just basically a digital journal. You can like keep streaks, you can do all the same things I'm going to describe in this app, but I do think you have to have a paid subscription. It's not super expensive. I think it may be less than $5 a month. So if you're someone who really likes apps and that's your best choice, try it out. You might like it. There is it's either a 7 or 10 day free trial, so that's worth a try. If you're someone who uses GoodNotes, you can make yourself a journal in GoodNotes, and we'll talk about what that might look like. Also on my student portal, there is a practice journal feature. Every time you put in an entry, it sends me a notification, so it's great if you need a little more accountability. It also helps me see what you've been working on every week and gives me something to look forward to for your next lesson. Now that you have your practice journal, what do you write in it? This will look different depending on your experience level, depending on what instrument you're working on or what subject, and your age, of course. We're going to start by putting the date. The whole idea of this is to be able to look back and track your progress as you go. So we have to have the date. Number two, you need the title of the piece you are working on. If you're maybe junior high age and older, you can use these other entries. Write down your goal for that particular practice session. The key to this is writing down a goal that is quantifiable. What is quantifiable? It's something you can say, yes, I did this, or no, it needs more work. It should not be a goal like get better at such and such, okay? It needs to be specific. Sing the correct notes for these measures. Like we have to have an amount or a page and something that you can say, yes, I was able to do this, or no, it needs more work. And I'll show you some examples of those. You can also write down any exercises you're working on, if you did any specific vocal warm-ups, if you practiced any specific scales, things like that. You can also afterwards write down reflections from the lesson. Were you able to achieve these goals? What did you learn from this practice session? Any things you discovered? This is the place to write those down. You can talk about what went well, what needs more improvements, what to practice for next time. Also, things to ask your teacher so you don't get to your lesson 6 days from now and say, I don't remember what it was or what page it's on. Like, take advantage of our lesson time together, and you're gonna get the most benefit out of that by doing the work during the week. Another section you can add, or other notes, things that came up during your practice session that maybe don't directly relate to your goals, and then your plan for the next day. So all you really have to do the next day is look at your previous entry where you said, tomorrow I want to work on, and write it down in your goals for the next session. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples. And again, this is my format that I think is really useful. Yours may be more complex, more simple. It might look totally different, but I think the big things, dates, name of piece, goals, what happened, and what's your plan for tomorrow, it's a great place to start. Let's look at a few examples. So this is an example for younger students. They can just write the title of the song along with the page number and simply check off the days you practiced. If you want to do a little more in depth, you can write the number of minutes you practiced, but I think this is a really good, just basic practice log. A lot of students this age have just a hard time remembering to sit down and practice, or they try to tell me that they don't have time, which is really funny coming from an 8-year-old. I'm like, friends, you have no idea. Okay, so it may be just as simple as checking off a box to say, yeah, I practiced, even if it was for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm okay with that. We're building a practice. Okay, here's an example of an entry for an adult student. So we have the date, the duration of the session, and this is something you'll add at the end of your session. We have title of the song, pages of the song in the book. You can find it right away. Our goals for the practice session. Remember, these are quantifiable goals. We can say, yes, we did it, or no, we did not. Page 96 at 72 beats per minute. So the student is working on the tempo, getting it up to tempo. Now, notice they didn't write play at full speed or play faster, okay? Specific, quantifiable. Did you do it at 72 or did you not? Number 2, hands together, page 97. So maybe they've been practicing with hands separately or having some trouble putting that together. Were you able to do that or not? Okay. Number 3, identify the chords in the entire song. I often ask my piano students to identify chords because I think it's a good combination of some theory work with the piano, which is fantastic. Okay, warm up. The student did D minor scales, harmonic and melodic. They did something to warm up, and that's fantastic. Okay, reflection. These are all related to the goals, how your practice session went, things you discovered, etc. So number 1, played correctly at 65 beats per minute. Oh, that's not our goal. We were going for 72. Try again tomorrow at 68. So maybe this was too much, too fast for just one session to get to that speed. So maybe increasing just a little bit tomorrow. Planning ahead. Love that. Number 2, I was able to play the first 3 lines of page 97. Together, yay! All right, line 4 needs a little more work, though that was a little more tricky. We're gonna start there tomorrow. So again, planning ahead, using your time wisely, efficiently. We love it. Number 3, I was able to name all the chords except for the one in measure. Let's pretend it says measure 10. Oh no. Ask about it in the next lesson. So they've circled it in their book, and in their next lesson, they're gonna ask the teacher, that's me, about it, okay? So again, using time wisely, not forgetting things, and just planning ahead. I love it. Okay, notes. This is the section where you're gonna write something that's not directly related to what you practiced, okay? I kept getting sidetracked by phone notifications. Oh no! So maybe next time I need to turn on Do Not Disturb because my friends were just pinging me, texting me the entire time, and that kind of sidetracked my practice. Okay. So again, learning about our needs for the practice session. Did we make our goals or not? What are we gonna work on tomorrow? Okay, super efficient way to use 30 minutes. So much better than just starting at the beginning of the song, practicing through to the end every time and hoping for the best, or trying to remember what you did yesterday or the last time you practiced if it was longer than yesterday, okay? You know exactly what you worked on. You know exactly where you're going with this. Here's another example. I put this one in GoodNotes. All right, we have a lovely cover. Look at that, so aesthetically pleasing. Okay, this is maybe for a voice student. Okay, again, we have our dates. Okay, we have the duration of the session. You know, sometimes you'll know you only have 20 minutes to practice, and sometimes you'll sit down and say to yourself, let's see where this goes, okay? So duration, it will give you a good idea also what works for you in time in terms of duration of session, so it's good for context. Okay, this person's working on Times Are Hard for Dreamers. We have goals. Mark your breaths in your sheet music like your teacher told you to. That's right. Correct timing for page 1 to 4 with the track. Okay, they're practicing with a backing track, an accompaniment track, and putting it together, maybe the first time. And breathing only at the breath marks. These are really good attainable goals for maybe 20 minutes. Okay, they use the warm-up number 1 that I have in my portal. If you're one of my students and you're on the student portal, I have some warm-up videos on there for you to use. Reflection, okay, again, all of these goals are quantifiable. You can say, yes, I did this, or no, it needs more work. It's not saying like breathe better or breathe in the right places, like breath marks. Did you breathe at the breath marks or did you not? Reflection, took a few tries to come in at the right time. That's a common problem, that's okay. But they found some solutions. They counted the beats out loud, that really helped. And by the 26th time, yes, sometimes it takes that long. They didn't even have to count, look at that. Took a lot of time, didn't get past page 1. That's okay though, but now they know where to come in. So important, okay? This is gonna help you problem solve, plan ahead, and find solutions on your own. Maybe counting the other rest whoops out loud will also help. All the breaths on that page felt good. Love that for you. And ooh, maybe this breath can be optional. We'll talk about with our teacher next time. Something did feel weird though in measure 6, like something's not right. We have some tension, some other stuff going on. So maybe we can investigate that more tomorrow when you have more time, etc. And maybe if it's something that's not resolved, you can talk about it with your teacher in your next lesson. Okay, some other things. Your roommate came home halfway through the practice session and that stressed you out. Like I get nervous too if other people are listening to me practice, so I totally get it. So maybe you need a quiet place, private place to practice next time. Okay, so tomorrow they're gonna focus on timing for pages 2 to 4 because they were able to do page 1 today. And maybe practicing, we need to do something about this problem part. Maybe it's a vowel thing, okay? So let's start there. This is the part where you ask yourself, like, what would my teacher say? Or you can message your teacher and be like, what do I do about this, okay? So again, you may not write this much. You may only write like 1 sentence, okay? But make sure it's specific enough so you can look back a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and you know exactly what you did, what the solutions were. That's all I have to say about practice journals today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Also feel free to share what does or does not work for you in your music practice journaling. I look forward to hearing from you, and I invite you to follow on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well.